Hello all. So let's get started with the next part of this tutorial. So here we go. So as you can see, we have started with the texturing part over here. So let's continue with it. So let's go into rendering, view image file, and let's take a reference over here. So we need to texture this bars with a metal texture. So I do have a metal texture over here. So let's go into the material and mostly we'll take the same texture for the bars. So we don't need to unwrap it. We'll go into it, go into the standard. We are doing a standard rendering or using a standard material. So let's go into the architectural. You can go into a kind of a metal polished. Let's go into the polished. If you want it brushed, you can keep it as brushed. Let's take a bitmap. So let's go into this buggy textures and let's select one of the textures from it. So let's select this metal scratches. So let's take this texture over here and reduce the shininess over here, and we can give a UVW map and give it as a box over here. So if you want the tiling part to get changed up, you can easily still change the tiling part over here. Select this and give the same texture. Go into UVW map. Let's take a box and you can fit it if you want to fit it. So mostly for all this stuff we'll be using the same texture over here. Use a UVW map and utilize it as a box. Okay, so if you want to utilize this and this individually, you can give this individually. If you want to scale this, so you have a lot of choices over here that can be easily done. Same here also, you can change this. Okay, so mostly we are using the same texture for all of this metal parts over here. So if you like to reduce any of it, you can easily reduce it. That's it. Alright. So we need to get it done right. So use a UVW map for this too. That's it. Okay, so select this. So this frame, the same texture, again the same UVW map. I'm using a box, so if you are going to unwrap it at that time, you can use a cylinder or planer or whatever. So I just want to fit this map perfectly. So can just fit it accordingly. So whatever suits the best, you can utilize it. So you can go into this UVW map again, whatever suits the best, you can give that. So I'm using the same option over here. So make sure you're doing it perfectly. So if you want to give it a kind of a cylinder, you can use it cylinder also, and you can even fit it with the cylindrical mapping. Same UVW map. So you're just fitting the texture very perfectly. So if you want some references, you can even take some references from here. We have some references, so we can take some buggy references over here. So if you want to take any of the reference, you can easily take the references. So mostly the rods and everything are of the same. So this part is left out, so you can okay. So whatever suits the best, you can give that. So UVW map. So if you like to give it a kind of a cylindrical, so you can give a cylindrical shape, and you can fit it. So whatever things you'll make it look perfect in this particular fashion. So you can just rename it as your raw texture. So you can just rename it. So you can push this. Now select this part, the tank part. So we do have the texture for the tank also. So select it, go into this standard, go into this architectural, and you can say a metal flat, go into diffuse map, bitmap, and you can take the texture, you can take this texture. So you can easily assign this texture over here, and you can use UVW map and make it as a cylinder. And if you want to unwrap it, you can easily unwrap it. So unwrapping is also possible over here. So unwrapping can be also possible. So if you want to unwrap it, you can easily unwrap it. So you need to go back again into unwrap UVW. Let's go into this polygons. So select all this polygons. So subtract this, select all this. So make sure you're not selecting this part, and you have an option over here, that is your cylinder. You can go into cylinder projection, you can define the projection, and you can go into this open UV editor, push this out. So tools, relax. So if you want to relax it, you can relax this. So you can just relax it. So you can easily relax all these options. As you can see over here, you can weld this. So what you can do over here is you can just select this, go into tools, stitch selected, or you have an option over here that is your vertices. So you can easily weld it using a target weld option. So you can just push your vertices over here like this. You can just go on welding it like this. That's it. So you can do it in this particular manner. Alright, so the same way the things can be brought in this manner. So this part is actually the side part from here, so no problem, it's perfectly fine. So it's very important that you weld it very properly. That's it. Okay, no issues. So if you want to scale it, you can just go into vertices and you can just scale it. I cannot select it. Just select it. Go into this. Scale from the top. So you can remove this part and you can scale from the top. That's it. Okay. So now what you can do over here is same thing, select this part from here and you have an option called quick planner map. It's very simple. So you can use this quick planner map, push it over here. Same thing, you can select this part, select all this and use a quick planner map, push it over here. That's it. So scale all this right from the center and you can push it inside. So you can go into tools, render UVW template, render it. So we have a folder over here called buggy UVs. So let's go into that. Let's name it as a tank over here and save it in the form of JPG. So let's open Photoshop over here. So let's open Photoshop. Now let's go into it. Open the texture. So open this texture over here, the tank part, unlock this. So you can take a new layer, alt backspace and give a screen mode. Go into file, open and let's take a texture. So we have already taken a texture over here. For that, your buggy textures. So let's go into this. So let's take this texture over here and let's utilize this texture in a perfect manner. So I want this texture over here perfectly like this, and a part of this texture. So select this, right click, layer via copy, and I want this texture to get fit up over here. So once you are going to fit this texture over here, press enter, alt and drag and push it over here. So of this, go into file, save as. So if you want any kind of changes, or if you want to add, like if you want to paint something, kind of a brush or something, you want to use something, a brush or something over here, so that can be easily done over here. So if you want to add some kind of a black stuff over here, you can easily add it. You can even change the blending mode. So you can change the blending modes and change the blending mode. So you can go into file, save as, and tank 1. So let's go into it. Just click over here to this, your material. So let's go into the material part. So let's give architectural, metal flat, and call the texture over here, the texture which you have defined, that is your tank 1. So that's it. So your texture is perfectly fit over here. So you can just end isolate it. So as you can see, now your texture is not stretching up. So if you want to use turbo smooth, you can easily use a turbo smooth over here. So let's save the file over here. So let's see some more textures over here. Now the same thing over here also. So we can define the same texture. If you want to define the same texture over here, so you can define the same texture, or you can define this texture to it. So let's see the, so you can off this, you can minimize this, you can see some references over here like this for the metal part. Select the front part over here. Let's go into the material standard. So I'm directly applying a material from here, and let's give again a texture over here. Let's see how many textures we have. We need to get some more better textures from it. So if you have some kind of metal textures, you can assign some metal textures. So you can assign some kind of textures. Let's see if we have some good textures over here where we can easily assign those textures. So if you get some good textures, you can put those textures. So if we don't have, we need to we can get it, or even you can create those textures. So I'm just checking out some good textures. So if I can get some good textures, so we can utilize this textures over here. So let's see the reference over here first. Yeah, we should get some kind of old texture. So even you can assign this and this the same material onto the top which you have applied. So you can just select this individual UVW map and take it as a cylinder. So you can, fit it. Same thing over here. You can use this UVW map and fit it as a cylinder. Okay, so if you want some more changes, so that changes can be easily done, so you can give the proper texture to it. That's it. Okay, so we'll continue the next part. Thanks for watching this tutorial.